Everybody. So one more time, like I said, I usually only make videos when I kind of have bee in my bonnet about something, and it's buzzing a little bit today. So Amber's most recent vlog, live, whatever it is she was doing. I guess it's a vlog, yeah, because she had the clips of her going to. She and her mom went to bingo, and they went shopping, and they did all the things that Amber wants to do, even though it's Mother's Day. And then Amber got a pain and decided to go to the ER. Now, I don't doubt that it was a legitimate pain, but it just seems rather ill-timed that, Mom's getting all the attention, and now Amber needs to go to the hospital. But I digress. Amber, they checked everything out. Everything was fine. And then she said she was looking at her paperwork and she had an elevated D dimer. Now, I had to look that up because, not being a medical professional, I know nothing about it. And apparently it's a protein because, Amber doesn't need protein. And it's one of the markers that shows up if you have had a blood clot. And here's the important part. The blood clot broke up, which they will do if everything's okay. That's the whole point of your blood clotting and, going through. Well, then Amber got really scared. Now, here's what I don't get. I don't understand the histrionics. They said, you don't have a blood clot, but she got upset and worried about her health because she doesn't have something. So, let's talk about blood clots, because funny enough, a blood clot is actually what got me into Gorl World in the first place. Fun little, circularity thing going on here. So back in 2019, which, we could probably call the height of Gorl World, or one of the crests of Gorl World, I got a blood clot in my leg, and I literally thought I was going to die. I was so scared, and I had people telling me, oh, they had to put me in surgery, and I was on this drip, and I had to, I wrote everything down, and I'm like, just, if I die, please do this, blah, blah, blah. Ended up not happening. Whether that was for bad or for good, and they put me on blood thinners for a while, and eventually it did break up. Now, what I'm going to tell you about having a blood clot in your leg is it is freaking painful. They say, oh, a little bit of pain might look infected, blah, blah. No, that thing freaking hurts. Oh man, I was not expecting that, because it feels like, I don't know if you've ever sprained your ankle, like you fall over and it feels like it's twisting. So imagine something, and I don't know if you've ever been kicked really hard. So imagine a cross between a twist and a kick in one spot. And that kick, because, the impact happens and then it kind of dissipates. Oh no, it keeps hurting, like the impact of being kicked. Oh. And it's hot, and oh man, it is brutal to go through. So after a while it broke up, and it took about 2 weeks for it to go down and feel better and kind of be back to normal. So I started thinking about, hey, maybe I should start taking care of my health, which of course I have not really done very successfully. So like I said, I don't judge Amber for it. But that was what drew me into Gorl World, looking for stories about people who have lost large amounts of weight and how they did it. And I end up on our, all of the coverage and the reaction channels to our Gorl, who started as a weight loss channel and unfortunately ended up gaining a lot more weight than she was even trying to lose in the first place. So, which brings us to today. Now, when I was in the hospital last year, the lymphedema in my leg was really bad. My leg was really infected, and I still, by the way, still lost quite a lot of weight. Between 2023 and 2024, over the course of about 10 months, I had lost 50 pounds. And that's how much I weighed. I was 50 pounds down from my heaviest weight when I was in the hospital with my leg so swollen I couldn't get my shoe on. And then when I came out of the hospital, about a month after I got out of the hospital, I was in the hospital for 23 days, and I was down another 30 pounds. Now, I think that really was just water weight. I think that was as the, as the fluid started to leave my leg, it went down. And I didn't do anything special, but I simply, here's, the magic pill. If Amber really wants it, I didn't sit around with a box of cookies in front of me every day. Really, if you don't eat a box of cookies every day, you're going to lose weight. And there's nothing magical to it. There's no quick fix. There's no that one thing that's just going to make everything better. We don't do moderation. That's the unfortunate fact. We're food addicts because we don't do moderation. Okay, you go to Mama Lynn, she can never touch crack again. You know how she stopped doing crack? She doesn't sit around with crack in front of her every day. Now, Mama Lynn's an interesting case because even though she's not doing crack anymore, or meth, or whatever it was she did, she still spends a lot of time smoking, eating, gambling. She's got a whole bunch of other addictions that are feeding that little dopamine fix. And I don't think, I like that Amber and Mama Lynn are able to spend time together that they never could when Amber was a kid, but I don't think it's very good for either of their addictions. But again, not being any kind of medical professional, not being any part of that, it's like, what are you going to do, right? Where was I going? Oh yeah, so when I lost the weight, number one, I wasn't sitting around thinking about food all the time. Number two, I had just started a new job. I had timed breaks, so I didn't have time to eat in the morning. It took me so long to even get to the lunchroom and fill my water bottle that I really didn't have time to eat lunch. That, by the way, was really painful because most of my coworkers were from India, and I don't know what they were eating. I don't know if it was like butter chicken or biryani, but the lunchroom always smelled absolutely delicious. And here I am. I haven't eaten since the day before, and I'm like, oh man. So that was always a little bit complicated. And so yeah, and I had to wait until I got home from work or until I finished work to go and get food. And then when I got food, sometimes I wasn't even really that hungry. So I'd get, a sandwich and a soup from Timmy's, for example, and a cookie, and that was it. And there were some days I didn't eat at all because I was just too tired and I went to bed. Because that was the second part of it, is when you don't have food at home that you can readily access, and you don't have time to go out and get anything or make anything, and after a while sometimes you're kind of sitting there and you're really hungry and whatever. So yeah, Amber needs something that gets her away from that food all the time. So, and I'm not talking about Legos and journaling and whatever, because she sits there and she's always got a snack in front of her. Get out into the world. Do something that doesn't involve food. If you want to change your relationship to food, that's really what you got to do. Now, since I've been off work, I've started to gain the weight back because I'll go to the dollar store and get a box of cookies and, wonder of wonders, eat the whole thing. And that's what's making me gain the weight back. Again, it's not magic. It's just eating too much of the wrong things. And she makes the argument, and I've done it myself. We all do it. Breaking a food addiction is harder because you have to eat every day. Yes, you do. I'm not arguing that fact. But you could make the argument that an alcoholic has to drink liquid every day. An alcoholic does not have to drink beer every day. An alcoholic has to drink water. So you're free to eat all the vegetables that you want. Fill up on those. Did you know an entire pound of zucchini is 120 calories? If you just ate grilled meat and vegetables 4 times a day, you would never be hungry. And you would be well within your calorie limits and you would lose weight. And again, I say this for myself as well, because I've got terrible eating habits. But I don't, right now I'm homeless and jobless. I don't have other things that I really got to worry about. So anyway, yeah, I just put you on pause because the neighbor was coming out. I didn't want to talk about personal stuff while they were standing there. I might step away again. So, I wanted to tell you about blood clots. So, I had this blood clot in my leg, as I said. It went away. And I had when I was in the hospital, they put a wrap on my leg, or she gave me these compression. They weren't wraps exactly in the same sense, and they weren't quite stockings. They were these like things that I could pull on. And she said, you know, if you feel like your circulation's cutting off, if you feel weird, just take them off. But she said, oh, I only had to change them every couple of days. I was like, okay. So I wore this thing for 2 days. Well, guess what? I got a blood clot. So by that time I had actually lined up a doctor, and I went to see my doctor, and she put me on these blood thinners. And since then, I've been on warfarin, and I bruise like a peach. I dropped my cane on my toe the other day, and the whole thing's purple. It looks broken, but it's just because of all of the blood thinner stuff. And I have to keep getting my blood checked every couple of weeks. But I went today, got a nice little, you know, fancy new accessory. Yes, I'm going to cut this off soon. And I asked what the purple one was, and she said it's just because I walk with a cane. I have no idea. So I talked to the haematologist today, and she said that there's this, it's sort of a catch-22. If I stay on the blood thinners, I have to keep getting my blood checked to make sure that my levels are okay. It's supposed to, my INR, I'm not sure what that stands for, but it's supposed to be between a 1 and a 2. If it gets too high, that means I'm not clotting at all. And she said, if I fall and hit my head, I have to go and get an MRI and make sure that I'm not bleeding, because I can get a blood clot in my brain kind of stuff. If I stay on the blood thinners, then I have to keep getting my blood checked. If I can choose to go off it, because the blood clot that I had was a shallow one. It was a shallow, I think they call it shallow vein something, I don't know, SVR something, I don't know. Anyway. And it wasn't the bad one, which is deep vein thrombosis. And they told me that normally blood thinners are the treatment for that, but they take you off them after 45 days. So I've been on these blood thinners for like 9 months. The problem is that, and here's where we go back to being overweight, is at my size, if I go off the blood thinners, the blood clot could happen again. And that was what my doctor told me, that she said basically because I've had a blood clot twice, I'm going to be on it for the rest of my life. But the other doctor, the hematologist, said I don't have to be on it, but it could come back. So that's the scoop about blood clots. I don't know why. Now, granted, the first time they start talking about it, yeah, you do panic. but I really don't understand the histrionics, especially since she does not have one. It's another thing, if you actually get one, it's kind of scary because, yeah, it can break off, it can go to your brain and cause an aneurysm, it can do all these horrible things. It tends not to, it tends to break up on its own or, you know, with blood thinners, but the histrionics are a little bit over the top. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe Amber isn't due for some more bipolar meds or something. I have no idea. Because I don't follow these things very closely. So I think that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about the blood clots. But just for funsies, I was also thinking about maybe doing a tarot reading just to pad this a little bit, even though I've been talking for a while. So, okay, cards. Now I don't have AI set up to ask me any questions, so we're just gonna go into this all raw, you guys. So I'm using my tarot, Celtic tarot again, because they're the prettiest ones, and because my Rider-Waite deck is in the motel room. Look at that. These ones are just falling out. But they've been falling out kind of in clumps, so. Ooh. I'll just show you how pretty they are. Look at that. 7 of Cups with the little dragon. The 3 of Wands was the first one that came up. But I don't know if I need to have a look at that. I'm going to tuck. Oh. Nah, you know what? I'm just going to shuffle it and do it again. So you know there's no sleight of hand going on here. You guys, I taught myself how to shuffle. Alrighty, so the question that I'm asking the cards. Now, I like to do a 3-card spread, past, present, and future. And we're asking about Amber's histrionics about her blood clots. And maybe why that happened and what we can do going forward. So we have that's not doing anything good there. One more quick shuffle. I know this is the boring part, right? All right. Okay, so this one's sitting up. So past, the Tower. Ah, interesting. Especially when we're talking about Amber's health. Now the present, 8 of Cups. And the all-important, where she stops, nobody knows, the future card. This one's also sticking up a bit, so we'll grab it. Knight of Pentacles. Now the Tower is danger, crisis, liberation, sudden unforeseen change. So in the past, I think in the past position, Amber's had serious health scares before. And I think that she's faced this down and it's changed things for her, such as, in particular, her cancer scare. Generally, when things come crashing down, things have to change. But she hasn't changed all that much in the last 7 years. So I'm not sure, because I'm kind of not good at this. I'm not terrible at it, but what I interpret it to mean, and it might be completely off, chaos, destruction, sudden upheaval, trauma. General meaning, life-changing, unavoidable, something built on false beliefs and foundations or unrealistic goals. Health, sudden illness or accident. Now they're usually followed by a period of renewal, make changes in your life, trying to go with the flow. Okay. Towers warning you to stop immediately or you may overdose. So Amber has had health scares in the past. She hasn't heeded the warnings, and now she's got to this point where, you know, she knows that she is on a precipice. She knows that things could get dangerous. So where she is in the present, though, is the Eight of Cups. So let's see what that one means. Eight of Cups. So the meaning of that one. Escapism, reaching your limit, self-analysis, abandoning plans, walking away, letting go, travel, escapism, looking deeper, withdrawal, disappointment, looking for the truth, loneliness, leaving a bad situation, emotional strength, courage, fatigue, and weariness. Maybe Amber's platitudes talking about wanting to get her life together, talking about changing her relationship with food. Maybe this is the first time she's actually sincere, or at least she believes she's sincere about it. Of course, her actions are showing something different. Walking away from people or situations in your life, or abandoning your plans, disappointment, escapism, and turning your back on and leaving a bad situation. The exhaustion or weariness that can prompt such a decision. Strength and courage are needed to walk away from what you know into an unknown future. I'll get back to that in a second. In a health meaning, you may be spending too much time dwelling on the negative things in your life, which could be having a negative impact in your health. Try to shift your focus, as a positive outlook may help your health improve. A holiday might do you a world of good and need you much needed boost. I don't know about that, but if you want to take this as something that she can sincerely do, she might have to not just change her relationship with food, but change all of the relationships in her life, whether she's still seeing Tommy or not, whether she, you know, the way that she indulges all of her addictions with Mama Lynn. Again, I love that they're spending time together, but look at how much time they spend actually engaging in these unhealthy habits. And no judgment, I have them myself, but sometimes you do have to change if you're really truly on a health journey, for the first little while, you have to be away from all of your friends. You have to change everything. And that's one of the reasons people go to rehab. It's not just so that they can't access their drugs. You know, people can bring you drugs if they have to. It's so that you can focus on yourself and not be influenced by what's around you. So that's an interesting card, given where Amber is right now, or at least where she says she is. What she's saying and what she's doing are two different things. She's going to have to bring them together if she really is sincere about it. All right, so the next one, the last one, future, is the Knight of Pentacles. So let's have a look and see what that means. Knight of, and yes, I really should try to get these memorized. I've been doing these little fan, you know, here's how the tarot applies to shows that I'm a fan of. And a lot of that is mostly just to practice the meaning of these things. But of course, I'm I've got a terrible memory. I'm old. Okay, upright meaning. Okay, take me there. Or maybe not. My internet is very, very slow. Patient, practical, loyal, responsible, persistence, protective, defensive, conservative, stubborn, ambitious, hard worker, prophet, finishing what you start, working with nature, working for what you want, making your dreams and wishes come true through persistence, environmentally conscious, getting back to nature. In general, work hard for what you want, finish what you start. You achieve your wishes or dreams through perseverance and determination. Be environmentally conscientious and an animal lover. Defend and protect your home, family, or those close to you. As a person, the Knight of Pentacles represents an adult who's stale, reliable, and patient. Okay. And then in a health context, if you've been ill or suffering from an injury, a welcome card as it indicates physical strength and regaining your energy. You'll get through your current issues and come out of it with a renewed sense of strength. Pay attention to the basics of eating right, taking proper exercise, and getting enough rest will be crucial to your health improving. So this is the do the boring stuff. Be persistent. You know, she's really got to stop with the, oh, you know, it's I ate 1 king-size bar today. That's better than eating 3 king-size bars. Yes, it is, but now it's time to do the next step. Do something. You know what? June's coming up. Do the Whole30 challenge. There's a good one. You know, have Mama Lynn come over and really, really, really put your head into it. I don't know. It's a suggestion, but I know it, you know it, everybody else knows it, until she gives up the processed food and until she is consistent every day, staring down her addiction and making the right choices. And I say this to myself as well. A whole lot of what I'm saying to Amber Lynn, it's not advice for Amber Lynn, it's me, I gotta do it too. But nothing's gonna change until she's consistent. But I don't know. Here's where she's at right now. So she does have the option. She can make those changes, because in the past, Tower, and it'll happen again. All right. So I hope you enjoyed my insights into what it's like to be an obese person with blood clots. What happens when you get one? Goes away, comes back, medication, the rather annoying pain in the butt part of having to get your blood tested, and a tarot card reading for Amber. So I hope you're keeping well, take your meds, drink your water, and enjoy the rest of your day.